Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Truckers Podcast, FYI Conversations Without Barriers. I'm your host, Doug from Ontario, Canada. It is 6:08 p.m. Here on I don't know, I guess it's the 1st of February already. Holy shit. Anyways, hope everybody has a good start to their weekend. And as you may or may not know, dickhead Donald Trump has now waged a trade war with Canada and Mexico, imposing his 25% on all goods entering the United States from Canada and Mexico. And most recently, Trump said that would increase if Canada retaliates. I don't know who the fuck Trump thinks he is, but obviously Canada's going to retaliate. We're not a bunch of pussies over here at the northern border. We are going to retaliate. Now, Donald Trump's reasoning for these tariffs is that border issues at the northern border and at the southern border has to do with illegal border crossings, illicit drugs. Now, the other thing here, ladies and gentlemen, when Donald Trump is talking about trade deficit, everything with Canada, his numbers are all over the place and off the chart. His numbers aren't even factual. He starts off at it's $1 billion, it's $2 billion, it's $250 billion, it's $300 billion. He's so far out in left field, it's not even funny. The trade deficit between Canada and the United States is about $45 billion. Now, that has to do with the currency exchange as well, the currency rates. And I looked that up to see what it was today, right? Canadian dollar is weaker than the US dollar, and it always has been or usually is. So the American dollar is stronger, gives them more power to buy more goods. We have to pay more for the goods because of the weaker dollar. Now, when it comes to immigration and illicit drugs, the problem isn't Canada. Not even close. The problem is the southern border from Florida to California, where the illicit drugs flow in through Mexico, comes from Colombia. He makes up these numbers when it comes to fentanyl, that fentanyl is killing hundreds of millions of people every year. And it's because of Canada and Mexico. Well, it's not Canada. Between 2020, I think it was between 2022 and 2024, 19 kilograms of fentanyl went into the United States. It's like 20 pounds of fentanyl went into the United States. Fentanyl finds its way in there and it's shipped from China. Comes from the cartels from Mexico and Colombia, not Canada. It's ironic that, Republicans and like-minded Republicans, believe every word that comes out of Trump's mouth. Oh, by the way, who is a convicted felon. He's a bigot. He's a racist. He's been found guilty of sexual misconduct. He's a sexual predator. And this is the person that you vote to be president of the United States. The United States is just a laughing stock of the world right now. You have somebody who's president of the United States doesn't even know what he's even talking about. So Trump's claims about Canadian immigrants being a significant problem for the U.S. are not supported by the data. Here's a clearer picture. Illegal immigration, southern border. The vast majority of illegal immigrants into the United States occurs at the southern border with Mexico and the United States. And the United States Customs and Border Protection data shows the number of illegal entries from Canada is minimal to comparison. And the drug trafficking, fentanyl, while Trump has linked Canadian immigration to drug trafficking, the data tells a different story. The amount of fentanyl seized at the northern border is minimal compared to the quantities intercepted at the southern border. Donald Trump asked Canada to take other different measures at the border, strengthen your border. So we had taken significant steps to enhance the border security, including $1.3 billion investment in personnel and technology to better police the border. Overall, the data suggests that Canadian immigrants are not a significant problem for the United States and that the focus should remain on addressing the issues at the southern border. Trump likes to finger point, but when he was president of the United States the first time, he didn't do shit about the southern border. He didn't do anything. I think he built three foot of wall and then had a siesta. And didn't do anything, excuse me, when he was president of the United States the first time. So his claims that the immigration problem and fentanyl problem at the northern border here in Canada, his claims are absolutely false. Absolutely false. And then he says if Canada retaliates, the tariffs will go up. Well, we're supposed to be afraid of Donald Trump, who's afraid of the big bad wolf. Well, fucking Canada sure isn't. Now, by Trump saying this, that the tariffs will go up if Canada retaliates. Initial counter tariffs. Targeted goods. The initial counter tariffs will apply to $37 billion worth of United States goods. These goods are chosen to minimize harm to the Canadian economy while still impacting U.S. exporters. Focus area: the tariffs will target goods for which they are readily available alternatives for Canadians. This includes items like steel, aluminum, and various consumer goods. We have an escalation plan. If the situation escalates, Canada is prepared to impose additional tariffs on up to $110 billion worth of U.S. goods. This includes crucial minerals and energy products. In the energy sector, there is also the possibility of exports tariffs on energy products, which would drive up the cost of U.S. consumers and businesses. Hey, we'll just turn the lights off on the state of New York and Michigan and Wisconsin. They would turn the taps back halfway on the oil too. Slow the flow significantly into the United States. Something like 4 million barrels a day. Cut that back to 2 million. See how many layoffs occur. Because up here in Canada, we're not going to take Donald Trump's fucking bullshit. Not at all. What is he? When he says, "Oh, if Canada retaliates, then the tariffs are going to go up." What do you think? We're not going to retaliate? You think that's going to be a scare tactic? Because, ladies and gentlemen, Canada does not pay that tariff. Neither does Mexico, neither does China. You, the American people, pay that tariff. That's a tax that's going to be added onto the goods that you buy. So your cost of living is going to go up 25%. Even after Donald Trump told you he's going to lower the cost of living, he's going to lower the cost of groceries. Well, having a tariff on Canada and Mexico is going to raise your cost of groceries. It's going to raise your energy costs too. To keep your lights on, it's going to cost more money. Put gas in your car is going to cost more money. There's this saying that goes around. What comes around goes around. And you ask what you you get what you ask for. It's absolutely ridiculous. Tonight, the Prime Minister and the Premiers all across Canada are going to be meeting and discuss what's going to be the first wave of what Canada trades with something like 36 states. I think we need to hit every red state with tariffs. See how long that lasts. Now, political strategy. I mean, Donald Trump's not listening to anybody. He's not listening to any big business in the United States. The goal of these tariffs is to create political pressure within the United States by targeting goods that are widely consumed. This could encourage U.S. representatives to push for a resolution. Well, they should have been doing that already. Now, Canada's response aims to protect its economy while sending a strong message about the importance of fair trade practices. Which we have a trade agreement with the United States, which, oh, by the way, that was Donald Trump's deal back in 2018 when he wanted to ratify the NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement. So Canada, US, Mexico sat down and ratified a new deal. Trump signed it because Trump doesn't sign a deal if he's not happy with the deal. So he's obviously fucking happy with the deal. Somehow Donald Trump is thinking that he supplements Canada with $200 billion annually, or $250 billion annually, or another figure, $300 billion. He thinks that he's given us this money. He thinks that he's taking care of Canada, when in fact that's not how trade works. A deficit is caused, in this case, with the currency rates and the difference in the currency money. There's going to be a trade deficit. Matter of fact, the United States has a surplus in trade with Canada because you buy a lot of product from Canada. Buy a lot of product from Canada because you need it. Trump floats the notion that, we don't need Canadian oil. We don't need Canadian lumber. We don't need Canadian cars. We don't need Canadian energy. Well, if you didn't need it, you wouldn't be fucking buying it. Canada and Mexico supply 50% of the oil to the United States. Actually, it's over 50% to the United States. Because you can't get enough oil from your own country. And Canadian cars, well, they're North American built. North American parts go into all the cars. Ford, General Motors, Chrysler. Nobody knows what's really behind or what's running through Donald Trump's mind. I'll tell you what's running through Donald Trump's mind is a train wreck. This is running through Donald Trump's mind. Using these tactics for some fucking ridiculous made up fucking bullshit at the northern border when it comes to immigration and illicit drugs, when it's all coming from the southern borders through Mexico, from Florida to California. See, the illicit drugs run in one direction, and that's from the southern borders into the United States and into Canada, including your guns, end up here in Canada. Well, I really don't know what to tell you. I really don't. He certainly has miscalculated, and that this potentially is just going to backfire in his face. And we don't and we don't stop there neither. And we should be putting on telecommunications as well. American content here in Canada. So our telecommunications pay for content to be aired here in Canada. We should be putting tariffs on that too. Put tariffs on Tesla and all the oligarchs of Trump's circle. Donald Trump. He won't dare come here. Neither, and first and foremost, he's a convicted felon, so he can't even enter Canada. So the loudmouth asshole can sit back in the White House and shoot off his fucking mouth. He can't come up here to Canada and say it to our face. Because he's just a low-life piece of shit, is what he is. He's like a little girl having a little fit because she can't get her own way. Acts like a child while he wears his diaper. So he can go ahead and increase the tariffs all he wants because Canada is going to retaliate. And we'll just increase the tariffs. We'll just go back and forth. See, the other plan Canada has in place, which the United States will never do for the American people, when things are going to get too costly for you, the Canadian government is going to help its businesses and it's going to help its citizens financially. That's what the Canadian government is going to do to offset the cost of these tariffs. So it's going to cost you more to afford a home in the United States. It's going to cost you more to keep the lights on in some parts of the United States. It's going to cost you more to put groceries in the cupboards, feed your kids in the United States. This is what happens when you have someone like Donald Trump probably borderline mentally handicapped, Donald Trump, because he doesn't understand 101 economics. He's gone bankrupt 10 times, 10, 11 times. because he doesn't know how to do business. And the businesses that he does, he just rips people off and makes sure he comes out smelling like roses. Because after all, Donald Trump is a criminal. He's a convicted felon of fraud. I don't know when the American people are going to wake the hell up. I really don't. I really, really don't know when you're going to wake the fuck up. And realize you just got scammed. You got scammed by a criminal, Donald Trump. Wanting you to believe that when he puts tariffs on another country, that country pays the tariff. That's not how it works. You got scammed by a criminal telling you that he's going to lower inflation in the United States, and he just increased it. See how far the stock markets fall. Maybe we'll have another stock market crash. Because of the United States. Because not one person in his inner circle knows what the fuck they're talking about. They don't even have a clue. So Donald Trump can put that in his smoke and pipe it. Because we're not afraid of the big bad wolf. We're not afraid to retaliate. And we're going to retaliate. Because you're just going to piss us off even more. And Donald Trump needs to stop calling our Prime Minister Governor of Canada. He needs to stop fucking insulting Canadians. Because we're not going to fucking take it. And we're not going to put up with it. I'll be back out here tomorrow morning, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll discuss this a little bit further. But right now, they got hockey on TV tonight. And I'm going to enjoy that game. And then I'll let loose in the morning and show you how pissed off Canadians really are. Have a good night. This is the Truckers Podcast, FYI. I'm your host, Doug from Ontario, Canada. See you in the morning.